Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming. My name is Charlie and today I'm very excited because we're going to take a look inside the lands of Galzyr. Now I have not played this, but our editor has, and for that reason there's a really interesting interview that was in the last issue of the magazine. I'll pop the link below so that you can go and check that out if you would like. But he handed it to me and said, would you like to unbox it, take a look? And I was like, certainly. And what I'll also do is film it so that you guys can see inside too, because this isn't coming out until sort of summer of next year. So this will give you an idea of what you might get in the retail version when it comes to you at that stage. So let's take a look inside, shall we? So for the uninitiated, Lands of Galzyr is one that's in the sort of same world as like the Dale of Merchants. Now there is a name for the wider world and I can't say it. I tried very much before coming on camera and I can't do it. So it is this place, and this is the Lands of Galzyr that you're going to be exploring. Now this is a narrative storytelling adventure. So you're going to be exploring these lands using a sort of, I want to say app, and I may say app by accident as we go through, but it's a website. So you'll feed information into there, take information from it that allows you to explore. And that's what you're going to be doing. Now you can play this game cooperatively, you can play it competitively, it is entirely up to you, but the whole thing is very sort of wholesome and very nice. So you're not trying to kill anyone or take anyone out by playing competitively. You're going to race towards certain goals or try and stop people from achieving theirs or things like that. There's nothing too aggressive in it. So let's have a look at what's actually inside. So we begin with this. This is Welcome to Galzyr, and so the land of adventure and excitement, an inspiring guide for the prestigious region of Galzyr. Learn more about the most famous attractions and spend an unforgettable vacation. So because we have quite an impressive looking map of Galzyr that we've been given here. Now the thing that I love about this is sort of how detailed it is. I love, so Everdell does this really nicely, when it's not just the world, it's not just the game that you've got, but they're going, hey look, this is cool, and this is cool, and we've created this whole world that you're probably only going to touch base with a couple of bits on, but we've thought about it, and I find that really exciting. What I also like is this little sort of yellow bit at the bottom, if you can see that, that just sort of says, the map above is not to scale and is intended for illustrative purposes only. Borrowy, I'm going to go with Borrowy, how to say that. Borrowy Publishing does not take responsibility should it be used to navigate the region and instead reserves the right to say I told you so. I feel like I want that on anything. Just anything I do with a subtext of I reserve the right to say I told you so. Maybe put that in the vid. Imagine that's the T's and C's of watching. There's also this really cute bit about the guide author and then Galzyr itself, which ends with Galzyr awaits. Now again, I like this. I like that it's creating this world and that these little extra bits, because really this doesn't add anything to what the game is, and it's just nice, and I already feel a little bit like, oh, I do want to take a look around Galzyr. This sounds great. So we then have our first bit of paper, which is a welcoming letter. Please read this first. It says at the top, so we shall have a quick look and see what we need to do. So it's just setting up your game, what you need to do, removing the packaging from the decks and putting them in the right order. I'll show you those in a second. And the adventurers themselves. So because this is a storytelling game, you'll have your own characters and they'll have their motivations, their reasons for doing things. And so one of the examples that they gave in the interview was like, you might be, I think something like a lizard folk who is trying to find their childhood hero. Things like that, which are not your most straightforward of motivations, but I quite like them. What have we got? We've got, oh, this is the boisterous, thrilled lizard who loves nothing more than a good story. Sociable to a fault, he lives for the vicarious thrills of hearing a great tale and talks others' ears off. But he's never forgotten where his passion originates from and has journeyed to Galzyr to find the very source. And it's just asking what's going on in Galzyr. Many hopefuls in search of fame and adventure have set their sights on Galzyr, and it has one thing in response: they've come to the right place. Being a polecat territory is a land where boldness and risk-taking are held in high regard, and fame naturally follows those who brave the unknown and leave their mark on the world. Whilst I appreciate I've read that very, very quickly, that's a really nice setup, because instantly you're an adventurer. Before you've even started, you've dived in by just reading that, just to be able to go through the land, just to have a feel of anyone that goes there is already an adventurer and they've come to the right place for it. Marvellous. Okay, then we have the rules, which are marked as a prototype copy, which is perfectly reasonable. This is an early copy, and to be fair, I should say that as well. When we have copies this early, it's reasonable that some things can and do change. So whilst this is what it looks like now, a retail copy may look slightly different, and just because we've got a little bit of time before the release, there may be some tinkering, some changes, some adaptations. Rule books especially are forever being tinkered even after they've come out, but there may be some changes to what we see in here. I don't know what those are as yet because it seems pretty good to me, but just so you're aware, it is an early copy, so just keep that in mind. Now, rules wise, to be honest, for the size of the box and for what you're going to be doing, very, very rules light. And to be fair, when I mentioned this and sort of how you play in the office, I was told basically when you go onto the website to use the app in inverted commas to play the game, everything is so straightforward. It explains everything you need to do and everything's on there to sort of hold your hand through it. So there's nothing particularly that you need to worry about. More of it is sort of setup and such than it is necessarily here's what you need to do next, which is a personal preference of mine. I'm dreadful at condensing rules into physical actions, so the quicker I can get going, the better. But I am excited about the adventure figures and the little bits inside that we're going to see as well. But I will just show you that little skill tree in there. That's what you're going to be working to. And finally, on the back, we have our sort of general, here's your keywords, here's your interesting things that you're going to need. Very nice. Now, this is our game board. So this will be out in front of us, but it is double-sided. So one side, that wasn't the side that I was going to start with, but I'm there, so we'll go. It's different seasons, I believe, from one side to the other, and you'll track those as you go through, and that will make a difference to what you're playing and how you're playing as well. So that's quite an exciting thing too. It's also not too big, which I like. I'm all for big adventure games, but they do also take up quite a bit of the table. So this is quite nice as a standard. It's not huge, it's big, but it's not huge, so it will fit on my dining room table. I'm happy. Now, inside, let's do the standard bits. You've got some nice little tokens there that have just got different icons on that you'll be using during the game. We've got, this is where we find out how well Chris put it back away, and I'm hoping neatly it looks good. We've got our little characters, who they are. We've got a dial as well built in there, and some different markers put on regarding the skills. So those change. Look at the marbled polecat. How cool does he look? The illustration here is top notch. We have that frilled lizard that I was excited about. That might be the one that comes because they want to meet their childhood hero. I can't remember. And Galzyr, a river kingfisher. How cute does that look? So we've got 4 of those. And to represent them, we have the meeples. These are great. Now they are small, they're meeple size, so that's unfair, but I'm excited about how cool they are. So super cute meeples aside, this game also appeals to me because there is a quite impressive amount of dice in there too, all with different figures and different factions on. So I imagine it will be sort of skill checks, roll this, see what happens, and then input your results, and maybe that will tell you something different. What I love about this, and one thing that's really been impressed to me when talking about this, is that your decisions matter. Your actions make a difference. So you're really encouraged to sort of explore almost everything to give yourself the best chance of knowing what's going on, creating your world, understanding what it does, and that influences later decisions. So an early decision might change a later one. The world will change around you based on what you're doing. This is the sort of narrative storytelling that I absolutely love and I'm thoroughly impressed with, and I would love to sit down and play this. Options. We'll think about that after I unbox it. Let's see what we're like. So we've got a couple more of those markers which are used on the character cards. We've also got additional sort of meeple / tokens, which are looking something like that. So again, really nicely made. Everything is considered. There's not too much of anything, there's not any sort of mess, it is just a very nicely done set. That they've really considered people are going to be playing this. Do you know what it feels like? It feels like they think people are going to be playing this again and again and again, which is delightful because hopefully they will, and given the sort of early impressions of this, they will be doing so, and everything feels like it's built to withstand that, which is really nice. Don't say that about all games because some of them, yeah, they'll get a couple of plays in, but these work really nicely. So then we have these little ones. So there are 4 of these, so presumably these are character specific. They've got little icons on one side and little pluses on the other, so they might be for things like bonuses or something along those lines. Now, the last thing that's inside, I say that, we've got a token, which is a starting player. Your turn starts a new day. Delightful. The last thing that's in here are these sets of cards. So these are going to give you some additional prompts or actions or things that you need to do, and those are quite nicely in there with their little dividers as well. Now you'll know from my villagers video that I am a huge fan of games that are sorted and held neatly and make sense so that you can just dive in, dive out. You haven't got to spend forever panicking about putting this here and then this has fallen out of this box, and then that's happened. This is really nice with all the cards, with the dividers, everything you need is in place, and it again feels like it's a game that's built to last. Now hopefully, because although this is a huge game, this is an hour to sort of 2.5, 3 hours sort of game. You're going to be playing it and then you're going to be able to play it again and have a different outcome and a different experience. So these aren't short games, this is one for you to have like real fun with, you'll enjoy as you go through. But the nice thing is, because of that web app that I keep referring to, in theory, they could add more to it if they wanted. So you can just add little bits here and there without needing to rebuy the whole thing. However, of course, this is set within a land of other games, within a world of other games, so Dead of Merchants, for example. So it's quite exciting to know that this is here to begin with, and then equally as exciting to know that there might be stuff coming soon as well. What would that look like? I don't even know where to start, and leave it down to the designers to be able to work it out. Now, if I haven't said already, it's for ages 14 and over, and it's for 1 to 4 players, which is great because I love that solo modes are becoming more and more standardised now. So this is a really exciting looking game. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do pop in the comments and let me know. Also pop in the comments if you know how to say the name of the place that I can't say. And thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, but do check out tabletopgaming.co.uk for all of your gaming needs, and hit like and subscribe so that you can see more of us as well. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.